So, folks, we are joined by Jermina Menon. She's a LinkedIn top voice, angel investor, philomath, 360-degree retailer, and results focused business strategist, and a seasoned leader in the e commerce, digital, and direct to customer marketing. And today we are going to have an amazing conversation on the topic at hand, marketing maverick, navigating retail, digital, and diversity with Jermina Menon. Here's an exciting twist. First, let us tickle her brain. So, Jermina, before I formally introduce you to the show, we would like to know the other side of you. I'm going to kick off the first rapid fire round of random words. I'll mention a few random words and I would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response without thinking much. Are you ready?
Sure. I'm ready. Let's
All
go.
right. Let's get started. And here comes the first word, curiosity.
Necessary for a marketer.
Invention.
Again, a necessity for the startup world.
Future.
Extremely bright for India.
Book.
Shoe Dog by Phil Knight.
So it's been on my reading list for quite a long time, and I'm hearing about this book again
You
and
better
again,
hurry up.
time
You
and
better
again.
hurry up.
All right, let's move to the next one. Movie.
Many, but the one I really love a lot is Life is Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And marketing.
Very exciting industry to be in.
Universe.
It's been very, very kind to me.
Leadership.
It's about authority with responsibility. Many people miss that.
Aliens.
I would love to see this because my favorite movie character is E.T.
I wish you good luck on that. And last one is success.
I think success is when you inspire or get somebody, even if it's one person, to make a significant change in their life. Then I would say that's the best definition of success.
And that is a philosophy of the guiding voice. Even if one person is able to take some action after listening to one episode, then we call it as success. And it resonates
Oh,
so well
wow.
with me.
I'm sure you've changed a lot of lives then.
Indeed, indeed. That's why we are on a mission to shape the careers and lives of millions across the globe. Yeah, Jamina, thank you so much for participating in the first rapid fire round so sportively. And we have one more waiting toward the end of the episode. And before I welcome you, let me welcome the audience. So, folks, you have tuned into the Guiding Voice podcast series where we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place through valuable discussions that add value not only to your life but also to your career. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Jamina, hearty welcome to TGV, the Guiding Voice. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very good. Looking forward to this conversation. Have heard some of your podcasts and feel very happy to be here sharing some of my thoughts.
Pleasure to have you. And on that note, I would like to acknowledge Kavita Garla for connecting us. And she has been an amazing friend and a great well wisher for the platform. She has been recommending a lot of wonderful guests like you. And thank you, Kavita, once again. Keep sending great profiles to the Guiding Voice. All right. So,
That's Kavita, always helping and recommending the best.
yeah. All right. So, Gemina, let's get started. Let's get the ball rolling. And we'll begin with your success mantra. Please talk to us about the top three things that have contributed to your success so far.
I think first I would say it's my skill to be observant. I think as a marketer, it's very necessary that you're constantly seeing what's happening around you. And if you're observant, you notice the changes, you notice the many emotions customers experience as they're shopping or browsing or, interacting. So I would say observing. I think second is my need to keep learning.
Mm-hmm.
I discovered very late in life that I didn't like studying, but I loved learning. And I think this need to keep learning, to keep upgrading, which today has become very important, is something I think has definitely contributed to my success. And I think I have to also give a lot of thanks to not just my family, my husband and my son, who probably have not given as much time as I should have, and also my all colleagues throughout my career, whether it's my bosses or my team members, who have kind of helped me be a working woman, indulging in her many passions, be it, upgrading and doing studies, or even, kind of pushing them hard to kind of achieve some goals which I wanted to achieve.
Amazing, Gemina. So one thing that is going to stay with me is being observant. Like as a marketer, as somebody who has to elevate certain brands, I think we have to be so much vigilant and observing things around, right? And next one, I also like the fact that you have acknowledged the efforts of family, right? And I rarely come across these kind of things where people acknowledge the efforts of family, and we are going to we are in fact supported by them, and without which we'll not be able to scale those heights, and we miss a lot of good times with them, and we do a lot of sacrifices. And kudos to you on mentioning that. And you help these great brands create their identity. So could you also elaborate on the importance of brand identity and how you go about shaping brands for their target customers?
So I think if you think of any brand, most people would kind of remember what it stands for. So, for example, Nike with Just Do It is about aspirations, fulfilling your wishes. Closer home, even if you look at Asian Paints, Har Ghar Kuch Kehta Hai, it's about colors and homes kind of a thing. So, what is very important is to really understand the core of your brand. And I always call it as, KYC. At one level, it's know your customer. Because if you don't know your customer and what it is that they are using, what is it that they feel they are missing out, you probably miss some insights. Then know your competition, because maybe your competition is already doing what you want to do or not doing what they can do. And that becomes a, good plus point for you. And third is know your own core, which is what does your product really do? And
Mm-hmm.
when you kind of intersect these is when you really find what is it about your product. And it's also said by a lot of marketers, you get to build a product only once, because if you spend that effort in the beginning, put that effort in the beginning, whether it is deciding what you are going to position your brand or product, how are you going to communicate that, it makes your life much easier later. Of course, there are things like relaunches and rebrands, but if your foundation is strong,
Mm-hmm.
then it really helps you kind of build faster rather than keep building the foundation.
Yeah.
So that's what my focus normally is, get back to the basics, which it's very easy to get distracted from, especially in today's digital world with the many digital things you can do.
Yeah, that's so profound. I think if you get the basics right, and rest of the things will fall in place. And with that, let's move forward. So, with your experience in handling global brands and integrated campaigns across multiple countries, so what are some challenges and opportunities that you have encountered, and how do you ensure consistency as well as relevance in global marketing efforts?
So global marketing is a very nice thing to say, but I think over the years the word has changed to global, which is global with a local touch. And I think that's the winning formula, because one area I struggled in when I was working with Reliance Vision Express, our JV partners, the Vision Express chain globally, we would keep getting a lot of references of what is happening in a lot of European countries.
Mm-hmm.
All of them were not necessarily at that time similar to India, be it the price point, be it the kind of customer. And I really used to struggle in trying to say, hey, let's not look at a Western European country. Let's either look at an Eastern European country, which is in your portfolio, or even a South American country in your portfolio, because those would be similar to India in terms of customer mindsets, the kind of ticket size, and perhaps hence those campaigns or those promotions would fit better.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say I succeeded at all times. But the point is that global should set what the brand foundation is, what the brand will stand for, and they need to allow local teams to minutely adapt it. I'm not saying 100% adaptation, but minutely adapt without losing the core values.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're really successful. So, you see brands like Unilever or Pepsi or Coke, they come with the same international approach, but they Indianize it or make it, you know, very Thai for the Thailand market, or Indonesian for the Indonesian market, or Brazilian for the Brazilian market. And that is where they get the success that they get. It's just not blindly playing an ad which is a hit in America or UK or Germany and hoping it works in India. It doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm. So this actually reminded me of a Coca-Cola advertisement, and wherein somebody is really tired and they drink Coke and they get energized. And similar thing when they wanted to do it in the Middle East, right, wherein the images have to be reversed, right? I think it sent a wrong message, and people were reading it in the wrong sequence, right? Do
Right. Yes, those things do happen.
Right, right. All right. So yeah, let's move forward. And here comes the interesting question. You being a great observer, right? I would like to hear from you in terms of how men and women shop differently.
I think men and women are different because, even if you go back to the caveman age, there's this theory of gatherers and protectors. women browsing has always been part of the way we do our work. So we perhaps look a lot more before we shortlist and finally buy, while men, I think, see it more as a task and they go in and, just buy, or they are much more focused than women. I think it also happens because, especially in India, uh, till probably a decade back, I hope it's lesser now. Women also had the double task of, shopping, keeping a budget given by their husband in mind, which meant they constantly kept scouting for better deals, better value. And I think that is the fundamental difference, which translates into many other things. Apart from the fact that I think a woman uses a lot more products, whether you come to skincare, whether you come to beauty, or even in fashion, in India, like most men typically would wear Western attire, but women wear Western and ethnic. And in ethnic, we have saris as well as salwars, it's not just
Yeah.
one ethnic wear. So you have a lot of variety, kind of a thing. So all these things do contribute to women looking at, what they are buying differently. Also the kind of brands which appeal to them. They are perhaps more likely to go for brand and Bollywood ambassadors comparatively to perhaps the men who would maybe be most keen on sports people as
Mhm.
brand ambassadors. So all these aspects do make men and women kind of, respond differently to the same retail or shopping environment.
So actually, this reminds me of my recent shopping experience. Like when I go, when I go for shopping along with my wife, and versus when I go alone, right? I think you rightly mentioned it will be focused. Like I'll finish my shopping in less than 30 minutes, whereas my wife, she tries to explore multiple options and she takes more time. Right? So solely relatable. Then let's move forward and. I've been following your LinkedIn posts, and one of the posts that caught my attention is about the pink tax. Right, the pink tax is another challenge for women and akin to their struggles for equal pay. So, could you elaborate on this topic?
So first of all, I personally am not sure whether there is actually a pink tax, to be very honest. Yeah. As a marketer and somebody who has sat and done a lot of unit economics, run a lot of P&Ls, I think it is your price value equation, and it is which customer is willing to pay more for what feature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Women, like I said, look for value. Hence, it means that when they are buying a product, if it has five add-ons, extra creamy, delicious to taste, more flavor, they will pay for that, because even if it's 5 rupees more, simply because they feel in 5 rupees they are getting value of 20 rupees. And which is where somehow the products for women seem to have a lot more features, making them believe they are buying more. I kind of really disagreed with that reel which was going viral, because I felt the products compared were apples and oranges. And then to say the price difference was a pink tax is wrong. And like I pointed out, if that is the case, if you go to men's wear, especially Western wear, you will actually see a blue tax. I mean, you
Mm,
go shopping with your wife, both of you go to the same brand, both of you look at a black pant and a white shirt. I promise you'll be paying at least 1,000 rupees more than her.
you're right. True.
So, and that's not because men are not looking at the price tag. It's because men wear garments for longer. For men, white shirt is a white shirt, while for a woman, after some time, they need a different white shirt. So they are going to buy more, and which is where they are not going to spend higher.
Hmm.
Men are going to wear it longer, so the material is probably better. It's probably more durable.
Hmm.
It's probably a thicker cotton, or a cotton with a particular coating or something of that side. And that's which actually gives the price premium. It's
Right.
not a pink or a blue tax. It's what a man or a woman is going to pay more for. That's my personal opinion. And I can promise you that there is such a bigger stress on margins and, making products affordable for customers, that no player can afford to put a pink tax or a blue tax without suffering the repercussion of lower sales.
That's a great perspective. And also, Jermina, you mentioned no problem is unsolvable with adaptation and pivot. So, can you share a specific challenge you faced in your career and how you applied this philosophy to overcome it?
I think the biggest example for anybody and everybody is COVID, right?
Yeah.
We began with thinking the world has come to an end, and especially we in India have really blossomed and grown 5x, 10x
Yeah.
post COVID, whether it's individuals, whether it's companies or brands. And I think that is the whole thing, that a situation now will change. So, how do you adapt to it? I think the ones who do not really work are the ones who do not adapt. And My favorite example has been the first client I took up when I started consulting, which is Smooth Chocolates. It was a brand which is known for its fantastic cafes and wonderful ambience. It was a 90% offline sales driven brand when I started, when the COVID hit. And suddenly COVID hit, and the brand and the brand team and the CEO had to realize that the stores are not going to open for 3 to 6 months. You couldn't shut shop and say, I'll
Yeah.
come back in 6 months, right? You had to keep the boat rolling. So the way we quickly pivoted to a digital anchoring strategy, the results we had were commendable, because overnight we grew. I think like Swiggy, Zomato, we were perhaps doing 4 to 5 lakhs pre-pandemic. Within 3 months of kind of pivoting to a digital first strategy and really putting in the effort to get our best foot forward, we shifted to 25-30 lakhs in 3 months, around 50 lakhs in 6 months. Those are amazing numbers.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And the best part, I think, for me, the compliment was that about a year later, when things were kind of stable, stores were open across the country, the CEO actually saying that today we get 90% of our sales online, and
Mm-hmm.
everything that will come from offline after we open is a bonus.
Yeah.
So it was, I think, the best example of how to pivot, how to change your mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and how to really focus on the next way of doing business or next way of approaching life. That's what I would say.
Got it. And let's also talk about your favorite shark from Shark Tank India, Aman Gupta. Why is he your favorite?
The bias comes because he's also a CMO and a marketer. Uh, I think what I have really liked, and I'll be very honest, I wasn't following Aman earlier till I started watching season 3 of Shark Tank.
Mm-hmm.
And what hit me always is the observant factor, which I said. And he's a true observer, because while I call myself observer, I'm also a bit talkative. If I could speak 50% lesser now after observing Aman, I know I will observe a lot more. So he's very observant. If you see, he's looking at the body language, he's really listening to the words. In fact, sometimes when some pitches are not great, he actually asks them question, and when the answer is not right, he said, see, I had this doubt, and which is why I asked you this question, and you're still not able to frame the problem statement or why your product does it best well. So that's what I really like about it. I also like that how he wears his brand quite literally on his sleeve. He has this wearable watch in his wrist all the time. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, it was very cute because last week he posted a nice kind of a anime style anniversary wish for his wife. He took a DDLJ ripper, and even in that, the Aman Gupta is seen running with the watch on his hand rather than the wrist. So I think it's a very nice that you have your own branding style, your
Right.
personal brand. It's so evident.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the fact that, you know, he invests in the uh, entrepreneur.
Mm.
And that's really the core to success,
Yeah.
because ideas are dime a dozen. Execution can still be done with the best talent. But if the entrepreneur or the founder isn't clearly committed, clearly not living his brand or his idea day in and day out, you are going to have a challenge.
Yeah.
And that's where his focus on, the entrepreneur more than the idea. And the fact that, even if you fail in this, don't worry, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Not too many investors will say that. So
True.
I think that's one reason why I really
Yeah.
admire him.
No, totally resonate with you and the great thoughts over there. And Jamina, let's shift gears and talk about some emerging trends or developments in the marketing that you are particularly excited about. And how do you envision the future of marketing evolving? And what kind of opportunities do you see for businesses as well as marketers?
I think the digital growth is just galloping away to glory. If we
Mm-hmm.
thought post pandemic that all the digital growth possible was achievable, then we were wrong, because you suddenly have AI, you suddenly have a lot of data science tools which are making it better and better. So I think AI is obviously going to create a next new wave of how marketing is done, whether it is content creation, whether it is application of tools, whether it is better analysis of the data. And I think that's an area even I'm personally exploring. I don't think I have, as of now, understood it as well as I want to understand it. So my effort continues in wanting to understand this better and see how I can, actually utilize it too. So AI is definitely going to change. Um, what I would like to say change on, and I think that's a big wish list, it's perhaps not going to come, is that we are getting too data dependent.
Yeah.
So is there any way where beyond data also we are able to kind of, do an analysis, really touch customers regularly and understand what they are up to? So I would say that's one of the challenges with AI, that we are getting so machine dependent. I'm worried we may start kind of stop thinking as individuals. So that's definitely a concern.
Yeah. I think AI is going to drive a lot of disruption in the industry, and it is hitting almost every domain.
Yeah,
Really, we are in the exciting times as such, right? So, all right.
absolutely.
Yeah. So this has been fabulous conversation so far, and it's time for us to add some more excitement and some more fun to the episode. So if you are ready, let's kick off the second rapid fire round.
Definitely. Let's go for it.
Let's get the ball rolling, and here comes the first bullet. If you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
You can do it.
You can do it. And if you could be any animal for a day, which one would you choose?
That's easy. I would love to be a panda because I love to laze and eat.
Good one. And can you describe yourself in just one word?
Intuitive.
Intuitive. And what is the weirdest thing that you have ever bought online?
Actually, I am a very conscious shopper in the sense that I spend a lot of time, I think a lot. So I don't think I've really bought anything weird, but one habit I have changed is very often I buy stuff and look at it 3 months down the line, especially fashion items. And I say, why the hell did I buy it? So now I've kind of learned from my mistake. And what I do is if I see something, I literally keep it there for 24 hours unless until I feel I have to have it then and there. And I add it to my cart next day. And half the time I remove the things from my cart because I'm like, why did I shortlist this yesterday?
No, that's a good strategy. Many a times we do that impulse buying, right? And that happens, and we don't
Correct.
use it for whatever
Yeah.
reason. I think that's a great strategy. Thanks for the tip. And
Yeah.
here comes the next one. What is the funniest thing that has ever happened to you during an online meeting or a Zoom call kind of thing?
I was once babysitting my next door 6-year-old who, because his mom had some work to do and she had left him with me. And I had a call and I told him the bribe I gave him, it was a very important call, that do not disturb at all, play over here. After you finish, I will give you an ice cream. So with that carrot, I kind of, settled him in. Obviously, somebody wanted the ice cream much before it was due. And at the most crucial aspect, he comes and he thinks he is whispering, but obviously everybody on the call could hear saying, haven't you finished? I want my ice cream.
Funny one. Okay, here comes the last one for rapid fire. What is one electronic gadget or a fantasy gadget that you'd like to see or invent yourself?
I think it would actually be a way to perhaps read people's minds because I'm
Hmm,
always curious, especially when you're talking to customers, that when they are saying something, is that really what they mean or are they just saying what they think will sound right? So maybe a gadget which actually helps me kind of, really see what's on their mind versus what they are saying.
great. I think this is the second or third instance where I came across this response. And thank you so much for participating in the second rapid fire round. And it was very creative. And let's be back to the mainstream. So, Jermina, what advice would you give to aspiring marketers, especially those looking to make a meaningful impact in the industry? And are there any key lessons or principles you have learned that you would like to share with the next generation of marketing professionals?
I would definitely share my favorite one, be observant, be curious, because if you're not curious, you're not going to know much about your product, much about your competition, much about your customer, and which is where you will probably do suboptimal marketing campaigns. Second advice, like I shared earlier, today there is a lot of data, uh, plethora of data, and perhaps not enough time to analyze it all or observe it all. So while data is important, don't miss physical touch points or real interactions or the opportunity to look beyond the data and understand what is the data actually trying to say. Don't just make a number given analysis. Sometimes look into the margins because that's where you will find hidden insights and things you could build on. So I would definitely say this to the upcoming marketers.
Mhm. Great nuggets of wisdom, and thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. And how is your experience being hosted on TGV, the guiding voice?
Oh, your energy is so infectious. I think I'm going to be on a high for the rest of the day. Thank you for having me and thank you for this lovely, invigorating conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for being part of the show and for spending your valuable time. And I really appreciate your insights. And I would love to have you again on the show, Jemina. And have a fantastic day. And wish you all the best on
Good.
everything that you do.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So, friends, that was our episode with Jermina Menon. And before we jump into the fun trivia section, I have a quick request in case if you haven't already subscribed to TGV, the Guiding Voice podcast, please subscribe from wherever you have tuned in because subscribing keeps you updated on new episodes. And also, if you have enjoyed the conversation and found it useful, request you to share with at least three of your friends or colleagues who would also like TGV, the Guiding Voice, to spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. Now let's cruise into the trivia segment. Having had an amazing discussion with the marketing maverick Jermina, I thought I would present you few lesser known and interesting facts about marketing. And here comes the first fact, the first ever TV commercial. Wondering when it was aired? It was aired in the United States on July 1st, 1941. And it was a second advertisement for Bulova watches, which aired before Brooklyn Dodgers baseball game. And the cost of the ad was only $9, but it marked the beginning of television advertising as we know it today. And second is the birth of the barcode. The barcode, which is ubiquitous feature of modern retail, was invented in 1952 by Norman Joseph Woodland and Bernard Silver. However, it was not until 1974 that the first product, a pack of Wrigley's chewing gum, was scanned using a barcode at a supermarket in Ohio in the United States. And this innovation revolutionized inventory management and paved the way for modern retailing. And third is about the Trojan Horse campaign. In 2000 year, the creators of the online game, the Blair Witch Project, launched a viral marketing campaign that became one of the most successful in the history. And they created a website and distributed fake news reports, police documents, and interviews alluding to the disappearance of three student filmmakers. And the campaign generated widespread curiosity and buzz, leading to the film's box office success despite its low budget and unconventional marketing approach. So, these are the three things which I wanted to present you to. If you have any other interesting facts about marketing, I would love to know. So, feel free to comment if you are watching this episode on YouTube or if you have found this episode on audio platforms. You can comment on any social media from where you have found this episode. So, I would look forward to your feedback and also I look forward to your response. And that's it for today. Folks, thank you so much once again for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome TGV family. So, we love to hear from you. Do not hesitate to share your ideas, feedback, topic recommendations, and guest speaker suggestions either to social media or you can also email us at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com for as digit and you as letter U. And until next time, take care. I'm your host Naveen Samala, a lifelong learner. And my goal is to have impactful conversations that improve not only your life but also your career. So stay inspired and remember, the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you in the next episode with another amazing guest.